So abandoning myself, I was willing to sacrifice everything that I loved for these people that I thought would give me the love that I always wanted all my life. And the love that I was looking for, I'd already had the whole time.
Roll me Mac.
What are some of the little things that your parents did that you can appreciate now as an adult? Number one, buying me any fucking electronic or toy that I ever could ask for, except for the Power Glove. But that shit was overrated anyway, so I'm still grateful nevertheless. You know what I mean? Like if it was Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega, Nintendo 64 for my brother, but I convinced him. That was some manipulation shit that I did to get a Nintendo 64 because I really wanted to play WCW NWO Revenge, WCW NWO World Tour, WrestleMania 2000, any wrestling game possible. I wanted to have that shit, and the best ones were for Nintendo 64. But even PlayStation 1, we got that. I actually got to open that early. We had just gotten back from my grandfather's funeral. Actually, my mother's biological father had passed away. This is 97. So when I turned 12, I got my PlayStation. First game I had for that was Game Day 98. Game Day 98 and Crash Bandicoot. Yeah, that's okay. And I think I got Jet Moto. So those three. And then I did a parent's worst thing, especially if they didn't spend all their damn money on it. I turned in all of my old shit to what was then called Funko Land. Like at Chesapeake Square Mall, we used to have a spot called Funko Land, which then became GameStop. But Funko Land, you traded your games in and you got money for it. And I traded in everything and I was able to get, I think it was about 100 to 150. And you know what I'm saying, like in game stock or whatnot. But yeah, they were able to like to do that, like for me and my little brother. You know what I'm saying? I can only give my rendition of my perspective of what I saw, but as far as the video games go. But yeah, that stuff. Going to pick me up and take me to sports practices. There were plenty of times where when we were in Pax River, and you know my father was in the Navy. You know my mom was in the Navy as well. So, you know, Navy has definitely provided me a life worth mentioning and being grateful for. My mom, you know, being one of the team moms, you know, it would always, you know how it go, where you rotate like each game and shit. And we would always, whenever it was our turn, we used to always get the big ass box, like Star Crunches. Little Debbie's Star Crunches. It was either Star Crunch or oatmeal cream pies. So, you think you like something a lot just because you remember it from childhood. I had a Star Crunch like as an adult, maybe within like the last 5 years. I haven't had a Star Crunch since then. It's just don't have the same, it don't hit the same as an adult. I think your taste buds change as you become an adult. But oatmeal cream pies can get it. You know, the little joints or them big fat bitches, they can get it. But like mom used to do that. She used to bring it for all the little kids out there, and I appreciate that. One thing I will say about like my pops taking me to basketball practice and really sitting there with me as I'm out there, as they called me a jackrabbit early on because I used to skip and shit up the fucking court. That shit used to make me sad and cry because lo and behold, you say anything that makes me imperfect. You know what I mean? But that's how I played looking back at it. But they were there. They were there for those, you know what I'm saying, like taking me to basketball practices and even being at games. And you can hear a lot of screaming from Cheryl Boogie, my mother, Miss Cheryl, Mama Cheryl, Red, whatever, you know what I'm saying, whatever fits your relationship with my mother. You know, like she would be at the games, like hollering and screaming, especially like T-ball games, T-ball and coach pitch. You know what I'm saying? Like when I was little, there was, it was that feeling, man, like of that love, you know what I'm saying, that you get from like your parents. Basketball wise at the games, early on, my pops used to get on my fucking nerves because he was coaching from the stands, and I can't have two coaches. I can't listen to my father. I'm trying to do what my daddy tell me to do, and then I got my coach telling me one thing. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those situations. But that's the passion that, you know, fathers, especially like if they play ball, that's that passion that they have for it that they want to pass on. But when you're young, you trying to, you know, you don't want to disappoint them. You know what I'm saying? You know, like to me, my father was everything. Like to me, I wanted to emulate him. Pretty much, you know what I'm saying? That's why I took on music early, very, very fucking early. I took on, like, wanted to learn the music that he listened to in hopes that it would bring us kind of closer, you know what I'm saying? But those little things, man. It was one time where I was going to basketball practice, and we found, there was a mouse, I think, in the apartment where we lived, or townhome, whatever the fuck that shit was in Lexington Park. So on our way to practice, my pops takes the mouse, right? and somehow gets it put in like a bottle. And then and then he was like, we're gonna freeze this motherfucker. It was a cold night. A cold, crisp night in Lexington Park, Maryland. You know what I'm saying? Pax River, shout out to anybody that was, you know what I'm saying, there in Pax River with us from 92 to 95. You know what I mean? But we came back from basketball practice, my pops would imitate their fucking mouse being there. He was like this and shit. But I mean, those are, you know, like I said, fond memories that I've had with them. What other little things I could say? Yeah, still with the basketball practice. My parents, when we moved to Suffolk, playing basketball, I played at Birdsong Recreation, right, out in downtown Suffolk. And for us living in North Suffolk, it's like a 30-minute hike to get to Birdsong. And so I would play, that's where I played my first rec league. And we actually won. We actually won that year. It was me, Rudy, Marcus. Trying to think who else, man, was on that team. But we played against Maurice Harris. We played against and some other cats, man. But yeah, we had a team. We had a squad, actually. We won. So yeah, of course we got the squad. That's one thing I could say that was pretty cool to be on a championship team. Didn't really know anybody because we had just moved there, but yeah, it was chill. It was real cool to be a part of that. It was cool to have. I believe both my parents were there for that one. Yeah, but just little stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like showing up, for, you know, doing that. I would say, like the meals during the summer. Like in the summertime, mom would go to like the commissary and rack up on kid cuisine meals for my little brother, but he would never eat them. He would only eat the sweets. So I would take the knife and cut that damn brownie shit, that pudding basically, and I would eat the fuck out of his nuggets, his fried chicken. I think one of them had like a burger or some shit. Them shits were never good. Never eat a kid cuisine hamburger. That shit was horrible. And then them soggy ass corn that come in the shit. But like she would do those little things. And buy all them little meals for the summertime because I had to stay in the house and watch my brother until they came home. And a bag of nuggets, like I'm talking about a gigantic bag. I ran Shaq through them bitches. And I don't know, for me, I know a lot of people like to bake their nuggets. I like soggy ass nuggets, like inside a microwavable safe bowl, and get all these sauces. My dad would keep a big ass bag of like, you know, Chick-fil-A sauces, McDonald's sweet and sours, which is the best. That's the best fucking sweet and sour sauce ever. You know what I'm saying? But like all these sauces that we would go to would be like a big ass bag, and I would fuck those up. like for lunch, and then me and my brother would watch shit like Shrek, Harry Potter. I fall asleep watching Harry Potter with him because I wasn't into that shit. That was more his thing. But like those little things where I've seen my mother drive fucking 3 hours to go get her baby crying because the Nintendo didn't work at her mom's house. And then even though I wanted to stay once she got there because we finally got the Nintendo to work, she was like, "You getting your ass in this car. This is what's about to happen." I done drove 3 hours. That's how spoiled I was. You know what I'm saying? Like that damn bad where I was spoiled rotten beyond reason, you know. And it was, and I mean, looking back at it now and knowing what I know, man, there was nothing that my folks would not do for me in their own way. You know what I mean? They might not have been able to express it emotionally, but as far as the lengths that they would go for me and my brother getting things that we wanted, man, I have no words to describe the lengths that they will go on that shit, man. It's like I said, it's definitely something to be grateful for, and which I am. You know what I'm saying? Like from my family, little things like my pops used to make tapes. He used to make VHSs with like certain little kid movies on it. There was one that had No Holds Barred with Hulk Hogan. I was a big Hulk Hogan fan. It was Garbage Pail Kids. Yeah, so Garbage Pail Kids, No Holds Barred. Troop Beverly Hills with fuck was that girl name? You know what I'm talking about. Her. Shit. She was Sam's girlfriend on Cheers. The first girlfriend he had on Cheers. First love interest. Blonde. You know what I'm saying? Secondly, it was no. The next movie that was on it was License to Drive with Corey Haim, Corey Feldman, and then there was The Sandlot. It was The Little Mermaid. It was the one with the Little Mermaid, The Sandlot, Rookie of the Year, Milo and Otis, and I think I covered them all. But yeah, Pop would make like these tapes or whatever with all these kid movies for me, man. Like he pretty much was helping me establish my own tape collection. It was nothing in comparison to what he had. That motherfucker was his own Blockbuster. Like for real. And we still end up going to Blockbuster. That's another thing. You know, like little things that I appreciate about my parents, because me and my cousin Richard, you know, trying to manipulate your parents into taking you to Blockbuster on a Friday night so that you can get whatever game through Sunday. And me and Richard used to manipulate me, and I would have to manipulate my mother to to take me to Blockbuster. And it would be like, I think one time we got Monopoly for Nintendo. We got Roger Clemens baseball. That was also for Nintendo. We got some other games, man. Like it was always us two. You know what I'm saying? With that, as far as video games go, we would do that's all we did. That's all we fucking did was video games. You know what I'm saying? Like Rick used to have, like for me, I had like whatever hit game was going on, but I always felt like Rick games used to hit. You know, it's because I looked up to him. You know what I'm saying? So much. He had Ninja Gaiden, however you pronounce the shit. He had this Street Fighter 2010 joint. It's like some cyber shit. It really wasn't that fun to play. Demon Sword. What's the other shit? Master Blaster. Like all his games was different than the ones that I had. And so I think that's why I liked him, because it was different from when I was so used to my shit. And he probably felt the same way with the stuff I had. One thing I will say about his manipulation that kind of put me on was Tecmo Super Bowl. And yeah, he got me to get that. That's probably one of my favorite. Of all the games that I've owned, Tecmo Super Bowl is probably in that top five. For sure. And but again, it goes back to the lengths that my parents would do for their kids. You know what I'm saying? Like again, that Navy money was good for us as far as the things that we got, man. And didn't, you know, like I said, it were good times, but the little, like I said, those little things, man. Mom taking me to get my wisdom teeth taken out. That was a very interesting walk back to the car. Being that fucking drugged up. I don't even really remember saying much. I was so high off of laughing gas. No, not laughing gas. They put me to sleep. Yeah, I remember talking The doctor asked me something, it was over. You know what I'm saying? And then I woke up and got me in the car, took care of me while I was in bed. You know what I'm saying? Little things. My pops, the way he showed love and his love language is acts of service. So there would be some times where you would wake up and me or my brother, and there'd be a plate of food there already. You know what I'm saying? Like for breakfast and shit, which I thought was pretty dope, man. I mean, honestly, that's almost like royalty, if you will. But that was what my father would do for his sons. Even if we ain't like all the shit that he made sometimes, because certain times the shit be too burnt. He'll make it how he wanted it versus how we wanted it on certain meals. But you can still appreciate the act and the thought behind it. You know what I mean? But my parents gave me all they had. I can say that. My parents gave me all they had. And very fortunate to have the parents that I did. That I do have shit, growing up. But very fortunate to have them. Grateful for everything. Good, bad, trauma sustained, the joy sustained, all around. Just grateful for them. So for Red and Bunny, my parents' nicknames from their respective families. Red and Bunny, if you're watching this, know that I love you very much. I appreciate all that you did do. I appreciate all that you didn't do. And hopefully continue to make this family proud. What did I say? I love y'all.
Hey, what up, everybody? Yeah, do me a favor real quick. Just hit like, subscribe, and of course comment if you have anything, obviously to mention about the show.
What are some foods that you have a hard time saying no to? Stuffed crust pizza, Papa John's, Pizza Hut, DiGiorno. DiGiorno surprised me. I got a DiGiorno one not too long ago. That shit was hitting. McDonald's nuggets, General Tso's chicken, depending on who makes it, because some of that shit be too damn sour. Let's see. White macadamia cookies from Subway. That's cracking the bag right there. Cheeseburger macaroni, hamburger helper. If it's made the right way, the way I do it, I do a little mixture and shit. I throw shit in it. Alfredo. Seafood Alfredo. Yes, it's a problem. It's a big ass problem. I don't keep pasta in the house for that reason alone, because I will fuck up some damn seafood Alfredo. You understand me? I'm talking about scallops, shrimp, mushrooms, scallions, cilantro maybe, some other shit in it. Just amazing. Shit like that. That's the type of shit that I really not able to say no to, so I do my best not to keep that shit in the house. What is the worst way you've ever abandoned yourself? The worst way that I've ever abandoned myself is by trying to fit in. Yeah, everywhere. Didn't matter. I never felt like my feelings mattered. I was in a position where, I was trying to hang out with my older cousins and my uncle, God rest his soul, my Uncle Kevin. So I thought that these guys were the coolest and I just didn't have any status. I wasn't anything. I didn't feel like I mattered. So I wanted to do whatever they did, just trying to be seen, you know what I mean? And so I stopped being who I was at the time just to emulate what was going on around me. It's that influence, you know what I'm saying? Again, just trying to fit in. And I think that most of us go through that, where we attempt to lose ourselves for not valuing ourselves isn't enough. It's only to be like the people that we're putting value into, not knowing that they're secretly wishing that they had what you had. You know, it's like J. Cole's song that he has. J. Cole's friend, he raps a bar and he's like, "You everything I want to be. That's why I fucks with you. So how you looking up to me when I look up to you?" So I think that it was a lot of that going on. Like, I was very privy to a lot of things that a lot of people around me didn't have, and I wasn't able to appreciate that being very young, because I'm a kid. You know, I'm just known to ask for shit, whatever I think is cool, whatever I thought was dope, and just roll with that. But I just never put enough value in me, if you will, and sometimes can find myself still living that way in the mind. You know what I mean? So it's like checking my inner child whenever that shit tries to kick in, and then be like, "No, you dope as fuck, man. For real." Like, a lot of dopeness is going on inside you and your spirit, and just by being you don't have to be anything else. And that's the beauty of it. Just being human, not trying to be anything more than just human. The worst way I've abandoned myself was just that. I was trying to just fit in, really just fit in. You know, moving around so much as a Navy brat, moving to different schools, coming to Virginia. And Virginia was a little bit different. I felt like Virginia was a little bit more challenging. You had to be funny. You had to know jokes, or you was going to be the joke. And I wasn't good at first. I really wasn't. I really was not catching on to it. So again, fitting in and trying to become somebody who could roast another person after you've been roasted about your ears and being skinny with a big ass head. And I really wanted to fit in so that I wouldn't get left out. I didn't have anybody. My family was in Maryland. You know, all of my cousins that I fucked with, they were all in Maryland, and everybody lived in Maryland. So I wanted to be something I'm not, in order to get artificial love. Get artificial love from people trying to be funny. I think that's where a lot of my acting began. As a youth, trying to fit in, trying to listen to music that I know couldn't be played in the house, music that I probably wouldn't even listen to that much, you know what I'm saying? But it introduced me to a few things, though. I realized my ability to adapt in those days, and just trying to be cool, trying to act like I was older. Trying to, you're in that phase between like 11 and 14. Your children go through a phase, statistics show, books have shown it, where they're trying to find out who they are between that age, but like age 11 and age 14. So it's pretty much sixth grade. Sixth grade is when you start to leave the baby stuff that, being around your mom and all that stuff. So now you want to separate yourself. You think that you hot shit and more important than you really are, you know what I mean? Because everything's very small from space. Looking down, all that cool shit you got going on in middle school, it's very, very small when you rise above the surface. But so abandoning myself, I was willing to sacrifice everything that I loved for these people that I thought would give me the love that I always wanted all my life. And the love that I was looking for, I'd already had the whole time inside. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those realizations where it's like the Wizard of Oz shit, being Dorothy. You had the path to go home the whole time, them damn shoes. If somebody would have told me fucking what's her name, Glenda, let her go through all that shit and then be like, you could have gone home the whole time, right? And why didn't you tell me? She wouldn't have believed me. Bitch, I'm trying to go home. I believe anything you say to me. But I digress. back to the story at hand. I was looking for love in all the wrong places. There's acceptance. I was looking for a love that meant acceptance or attention. I was equating attention to love a lot. And you're a kid. You're a kid, and that kid grows into an adult who's still doing the same thing. So going to Miami and trying to act like you're, I'm not gonna say act like you're Latino, but you're taking a part of the culture a lot, and it's easy to fall into it. I'm telling you, that city got its ways. I love my city, but that shit is like Neverland, when you fuck around and forget what you came from type thing, because it's just so engulfed in so much shit if you allow yourself to. But I still love Miami, just as much as I love Suffolk, just as much as I love Salisbury. And, the places that I've been, I spent the most time and made a lot of memories in life. But I really did, the worst way I abandoned myself was really putting others before me and being afraid to like what I liked, being afraid to speak up because my feelings didn't really matter. I didn't believe my feelings really mattered, and attracting people who took advantage of that would tear me down if I liked a certain thing, that didn't love me unconditionally, that was like, it's like almost like high school, like watching them high school like TV shows where it's like, you don't smoke cigarettes, we can't fuck with you type shit, versus just loving me, the fact that I don't smoke cigarettes, you get what I mean. And so it was just hard. It was just hard to, I was loving myself through the ego versus the soul. But you're a kid. What the fuck you know? Well, and a young adult. If you haven't been taught it, weren't taught it as a kid, you weren't going to just learn it as soon as you became an adult. It took time to see things and to be alone and, to become a somebody that was able to walk alone. And I learned a lot. I learned a lot about myself through that. And as far as like how I had abandoned myself and seeing the lengths I was willing to go, because I didn't love myself enough, that I was willing to just be whatever somebody else wanted me to be in order to feel love. And it's sick. It's sickening to know that I allowed myself to get like that, but to be able to look at it as a strength to me, because I know that I wouldn't do that to anybody today. I won't let you be toxic, but you can be, you can like the stuff that you like. You don't have to like what I like. We don't have to like the same movies. We don't have to listen to the same fucking music. You know what I'm saying? Our culture ain't got to be the same. I love learning new things. I like learning different things. And what works, whatever I like for me, I take on. Whatever I don't like for me, I don't take on. And I think that's the beauty of growing up and becoming emotionally mature. And, but yeah, the worst way I abandoned myself was trying to fit in, believing that my thoughts didn't matter, my likes, my preferences, none of that shit mattered. And the universe, God and his universe, has a way of showing you the bullshit and removing the things that are not meant for you, the people not meant to be in your life long term. And you, like I said, you have to just accept it as it comes. Like, there were so many conversations that you didn't hear, but God and the universe did. So they removed certain people from your life. And be grateful. Definitely be grateful that they're gone and never to be seen again. You know what I mean? But you learn a lot. You really do. You learn a lot. So the worst way I would abandon myself is trying to fit in, believing that others are more important than me. Challenges of being a man in the modern world. All right, the challenges of today being a man is that you're not able to be the boyish person that you are at heart. Technically, like the guy, for instance, growing up, as I mentioned earlier in this episode, all I did was play fucking video games. That's it. I got a job because my friends got jobs. I didn't really want to work. All I wanted to do was stay at home, play fucking video games, and live under my parents' roof, and live like that. I was okay with that. I was okay with being at the nest. Tell a woman that shit, that's how you want to live now. See how many women you get. Because a woman does not want to be with a man. She wants to love a man. She doesn't want to be with a boy. She doesn't want to love a boy. Unless she wants a son. And that's a lot of the masculine women. So you look at a lot of women who operate in masculine and how their men behave. They have grown-ass sons for husbands and boyfriends and whatever. Side pieces, whatever they have. You know what I'm saying? But like, the challenge of the modern, a man in a modern day, in today's world, is he must perform. All right? He has to perform. And by perform, I mean he has to be ambitious, be determined, have goals. He's got to be working towards something. And if you want to be treated with respect, that is. I believe that. I truly believe that. Because it's hard to respect a grown-ass man who acts like a child. Okay? Responding with tantrums and arguments with significant others. She loses respect instantly. Depending on how much trauma she's gotten into, she may stick around a long time. Maybe 20 years, dealing with the same shit. But if she's working on herself, like a lot of us are, and what we're promoting, especially through this platform, there's only so much of that shit that she's going to allow to be in her life of being a mother to a grown-ass man. And fellas, that's something that's a burden that, I don't say a burden, that's a task that we have to take on as men if we're going to lead. It's hard to lead from the couch with a damn controller in your hand. That's not no shot at nobody that plays games. I still play games, but not majority of the time, because there's nothing that comes from it. As far as like sitting there playing video games. But you can make a lot of things. You can create things. There's so much creativity, and that's left. Les Brown, one of my favorite mentors, has a reference point, and he talks about where can you find the most talented inventions and the most talented people and inventions that were to be made. The graveyard, because a lot of people died without using their creativity. So I kind of push myself on a daily for many reasons. Feels great to accomplish something. And so that helps with like depression and anxiety and shit like that. But also, that's the modern day man. It's like I said, a man being treated with respect. There are a lot of men that are fine with just being mediocre, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Like they're very, very comfortable in life, doing the same shit every fucking day. And like I say, man, the one thing you cannot do is bore a woman. So you become so predictable. She know that you like a certain TV dinner. She know that you like your spaghetti with the hot sauce on it. All that little shit. And nothing's coming about. There's no adventures being planned. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing there to take chance and live freely, if you will. So there's a challenge there. I believe that's one of the challenges there. The challenges of modern day men, height, height for sure. It helps to be tall. 6 feet or higher. You know what I mean? Nothing against the Lollipop Guild that's under 6 feet. But being 6 feet or taller, it definitely does help with women because they want to be with a man. I believe women want to be with a man that they can look up to, not that they're looking down to. You know? So that's natural selection right there of being born that way, whether you're tall or you're short. It's not to say that short men don't get quality women in their life, but height definitely does help. Yeah, what you do for a living and how much you make is definitely a factor in the modern world. How you maybe sometimes how you dress, the car you drive, a lot of those things they come into play to some degree. Even the nicest girl, they're like, oh, I'm only with him just for you. Okay, give it time. You know what I mean? Like, resentment comes to the idle. You know what I mean? Resentment comes of dealing with idle people, ones that don't make effort and become ambitious. So for men today, that's another thing. Trying to do right by your woman. In today's society, not for all women, but some, it's not enough. It's not enough just to be the nice guy. It's not. I hate to tell you this shit, but nice guys become very boring. Okay? Nice guys become very boring. I mean, but boring is actually good. That's the unfortunate part. But I believe women crave adventure. I believe women crave risk more than they lead off for us to believe. What's the shit? 50 Shades of Grey. All the hoopla surrounded around that. I think that was a dead giveaway, fellas, for us. So it's like having an edge to you definitely gives a sex appeal, if you will. So like I said, nice guys, man. It's really not a climate for nice guys. I can be honest. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's some women that really love they love their life being very, very plain and all that stuff. And more than likely, they're very simple personalities themselves. But I can tell you this: there are definitely those out there who crave adventure, crave dominance, crave wanting to be led, crave seeing a man make decisions and not turning to your wife or your girlfriend and being like, I don't know, babe, what do you want to do? No, being able to create an adventure, create a start to finish, create an itinerary, if you will. It takes a lot of thought. Don't get me wrong. There's much work that goes into it, but you also get to see what a lot of women go through trying to plan shit, and there's an appreciation for that effort. That effort goes a long way. So the challenges of being a man in the modern day world is just really effort, right? I believe that. I believe that's the effort. The challenges of, like I said, trying to be just what we were taught to be growing up, the blue pill beta males that do whatever their wives ask them to do and not really having any boundaries. And, and it still feels like it's not enough. And that is a fucking challenge. It's not enough to go to work, come home and just be there for your family. Now, especially with so much entitlement and social media heightening this whole epidemic that's going on between men and women today. You can't bore them. Get in an argument. Very well could just be on social media talking to somebody who's willing to feed them the attention that you really are not there to give them because you're going out working. You know what I mean? Like, there's challenges, and who's to say that men aren't able to do the same? But I mean, think about it. Women are I believe women get hit on definitely a lot harder, and they're dealing with it a lot longer too. since so like than men. I would say that. You know what I mean? Like ever since women were able to grow titties, you've had boys and men, for some of them, as dark as that sounds, you know what I'm saying, making passes at them. So they've got more experience in saying no, as to where a lot of us didn't really get much attention as kids. So you become an adult, you like a kid in a candy store, a fat girl that loves candy and not able to say no, and food, and you know what I mean, just having that addiction. It takes some time to learn how to say no. And so those are, like I said, those are challenges, but it's not impossible. I'll say that it's not impossible. All the challenges that were mentioned, obviously on this segment, but they are challenges nevertheless, and you can learn a lot from it. But that's what it's all about. It's all about being faced with adversity and figuring out a way to overcome it. That's what masculinity is truly about. Being faced with challenges and figuring out how to get through them. Sometimes you have to walk away from said challenges. Sometimes you have to navigate through them. Sometimes you don't have to do shit. And, you know, so it all really depends on how that challenge comes. But as much as it's challenging to be a man, it's very rewarding to be a man, especially one who owns his masculinity and also knows how to use his feminine energy as well to better understand his woman. It takes that feminine energy and knowledge of that to be able to recognize her feminine energy and when she's operating in it. So it's important to have emotional intelligence. It's important to know how to use your masculinity to lead, not to tear down, but to lead, but to make a woman feel safe. You know what I'm saying? In an unsafe world. So literally give her a illusion that the world is safe simply because she's with you, even though we know that this world is a very unsafe place. And same thing for her. That's the beauty of like a woman who operates in her feminine, is that she really does make a masculine man feel safe in that illusion for whatever time they're around one another. Like she's able to give off that protection. She's not trying to tear him down like a lot of women who operate in their masculine. Once you've been out in the world, especially black men, being out in the world and coming home and having your woman tear you the fuck down, tell you ain't shit. And it's like, fuck, where does the outlet come? You know what I'm saying? Never satisfied, don't appreciate a fucking thing. Like, you know, it just gets old. It gets really old. It really does make you not want, like, what would be the point of dating? What would be the point of marriage if this is the outcome? Where I gotta keep coming home and arguing about the same old shit because you don't know how to manage your emotion, and you project your insecurities onto your mate who simply just wants to do nothing but make you fucking happy by doing what you ask. You know what I mean? And that's when you do that, you realize that that's not really the answer. It's not the answer to just do what is asked of you, but to create, be able to lead. So building a frame worthy for a woman to trust you to lead, to follow, to be able to follow you, knowing that wherever we're going, she trusts you to make the effective decisions. And we all can get there, man. We can. We definitely can get there. We will get there. And we get there together. That's really how it goes. So, I mean, we're going to get there together, have the same mindset, the same goals of being ambitious, of you know what I'm saying, putting our best foot forward and learning our own emotions in a masculine manner. And I think we're up for it. So to all men watching this, you know, I salute you. For all men trying to figure this shit out, keep staying in the fight. And women, do us a favor. Stay feminine, all right? No matter what the fuck is going on, stay feminine. And men, learn your masculinity. Learn it well. I'm out. Peace.